Hey folks, you might recognize this guitar here. This is the Clevan D10 series guitar, not the same one, it's a different model obviously. And I did a video some time ago about a guitar I got for $28 free shipping on Amazon. Well, they're not that cheap anymore, they're still around, I think they float around between $80 and $100, $120, somewhere around there. But I got some of these because I always have kids who want to learn how to play guitar and they only have $100, $120 to spend. So I like to find guitars that are well made that I can do a full setup on, make them play really nice so these kids don't quit. You know, because so many people start out on crappy playing guitars and just get discouraged. So I got some of these because I thought for the money, I thought the parts and the materials are quite good. They've got nice rosewood boards. They're actually spruce and mahogany. It's not that horrible pressed basswood that you find on so many cheap guitars. This is the brown burst, you'll remember it. This is the one I got as low as 28. And now it's around 100, 120. In the same series they have, I'll just show you the ones I picked up. In the same series they have the natural D10, so this is the D10 NA, the other one is SBS or something like that for sunburst or brown burst. So this is the natural. It's a dreadnought guitar, well made, decent parts, sounds good with a setup, and I can get this in a kid's hands for fairly cheap with a gig bag. These are Clevan. Hope you can see that there. And then the third one in the series, I just picked up a few of them and set them up so I'll have guitars that I can sell cheap to folks. Is this little mini jumbo. This is the MJ10 with a natural finish. A little bit thinner of a profile. You know, these size, some of these size distinctions are a bit weird to me. I mean, when I first saw that, I thought concert, auditorium. That's the usual standard parlance. But I guess because it has a slightly wider bottom belt there and a bit more of a waistline, they actually call this a mini jumbo. It's so close to the auditorium guitars that I have that you could be forgiven for calling this an auditorium or a concert guitar. But it is being marketed as a mini jumbo. It's a slightly smaller sound. Oh, if I could just tune it beforehand, eh? There's the Fender. So it's a smaller, it's got that more smaller body guitar sound, but it's very sweet. These play really well, really nice guitars. If you need a guitar for a gift, I know Christmas just went, but if you've got a relative in your family, a niece, a nephew, or one of your kids that needs just a good guitar, and you don't want to spend a lot of money, but you want something with the correct materials and decent parts, I'd recommend these Clevans. I think I'm saying that right. It's C-L-E-V-A-N, Clevan. And you can pick these up on Amazon and other websites for anywhere between 80 and 120 is where they sort of tend to hover. Be aware you will have to do some setup on these. Not so much on the action. The action on these came, I didn't have to do too much saddle adjustment, but again it's frets. And that may be more for me than for you. I'm in a dry part of the country, so the frets dry out when the guitar's on the way here. And then after a day of it sitting in my house, even with all my humidifiers, I usually have to deal with fret sprouts. You might be in a more humid part of the country to where you don't have to worry about that as much. But I would say that if you order something like this, you're probably going to have to do some setup on it. So be prepared to do that, or get it from a guy like me, you know, who's going to set it up and have it ready to go for you. The great thing about living in a dry climate, by the way, is I set these up so they feel perfect. And then I ship them from here all over the country, California, Oregon, Washington, or out to the East Coast or down south. And almost everyone who gets them says they're set up perfectly because they're set up in dry weather conditions. In dry conditions, when I ship them to a more humid part of the country, the swelling goes the right way. if you know what I mean. You know, you don't have the top drying out and the string going flat on the board. Maybe you get a millimeter more action out of it. But so it works really well is what I'm trying to say. And so I get these, I set them up, I have them, always have them on my rack. I'm always looking for brands and models that, you know, I can make good guitars out of and people don't have to spend a lot of money on. And right now my $100 guitar special are these Clevans, because I think they're quite decent. So I just wanted to show you that in case you needed something of that ilk, and then you can proceed accordingly. Alright, it's getting dark in here, so I'll stop making videos. I'll get to my bench and do a bit of work, and I'll see you in a day or two. Cheers.